Yo, what's up, it's your boy KSI, legit ABT. Sorry, that's not actually me, but last night I fucked up my diet and I went to bed at 1 a.m. But I woke up at 6 a.m. to watch this dreadful show, and it might have been a mistake. Alright, it's like 8 o'clock right now, and I'm recording this, so I don't even know if my thoughts have settled, but I definitely know what I'm feeling, and it's not good, okay? I don't feel great about that episode. I don't think it was fitting of the second to last episode of your entire show. I expected a lot more of the penultimate episode, and you know what, the way this episode started, I thought we were gonna get that. I thought it was gonna be straight gas, no fucking breaks, but I was wrong. Okay, there were a lot of breaks. Breaks were functioning. They got some fucking, the handbrake was on. So the episode starts, and I think within like the first 5 minutes, Homelander kills the president. He squishes his head. We also get the scene where he's sitting in the White House chair. That's cool, I guess, but I thought that was gonna be in the finale. They kind of bamboozled me. He kills the president because Ashley snitches out. He basically pressures Ashley into telling him whether or not the president actually believed in him. And then after that, just fucking kills him right there. I'm not gonna lie, I expected a little more of the president's death. I thought they would use that as some sort of public tool to ignite a belief in Homelander. Maybe they'd make up a story about the president and Homelander would be like, yeah, I'm the savior, I'm rooting out the bad people that are plaguing society, something like that. But it was a death behind closed doors and it was kind of swept under the rug. I think Ashley assumed the role of president right after. So I don't really like that. I think they could have done a lot more with the president's death, especially with the building up of Homelander as God. At the same time, we see that the boys are experimenting with enriched uranium. I'm not sure how they got that or how Huey didn't know about that at all, but Kimiko's undergoing these trials to see if she can get the depowering effect that Soldier Boy has. Remember when we were watching Butcher look at the old footage of Soldier Boy, he was clearly looking at how the experiments worked, and he's trying to replicate that with Kimiko so she can maybe depower Homelander. It's not really working, and Kimiko's just getting fucked up. All the while, Sage is being useless. She's lobotomizing herself and watching Love Island. Just a fucking waste of time, to be honest. I don't really understand how or why the smartest character in the world just becomes a bum because she didn't predict one thing correctly. And it's like, look, right? I understand the concept of somebody being so smart that the first time they're actually wrong, it kind of derails their entire life. But in these stakes, if there's a viable solution, which she knows she can solve because she proves that she can later in the episode, why are we wasting time with this scene where she's like, yeah, no, I give up. I'm gonna fucking resign to a life of tacos and being fucking watching Love Island being a bum. Why are we doing that? I don't see the point in that. And it honestly wasted time. We get this monologue from Frenchie while he's talking to her about love and shit like that. And I get it, they wanted to do that because Frenchie was gonna die in this episode. But come on now. You could set up an emotional scene a little better than fucking Taco Bell and Love Island. They literally showed Love Island. I've never watched it, but I know for a fact that's real. It's not like they faked that. They genuinely got a fucking real Love Island clip. Why is that in the final episode? Why did I watch more Love Island this season on The Boys than I saw fucking Ryan at all? You know? That's whatever. It's clearly annoying, but it's just a symptom of some stupid character writing. I've said this before, I don't think they ever really knew how to handle Sister Sage, especially with her being the smartest person in the world, because she was never gonna get everything correct. But the way you make her character leading up to that is very important, and I think they shat the bed. Because obviously if she's gonna be right about everything, it would be really fucking boring. So of course she's gonna get bamboozled by Homelander or Soldier Boy at some point. But it matters how you present that and how you go afterwards, especially if you're gonna keep her alive. That's very important, and I think they dropped the ball. Butcher, Huey, MM, and Starlight are going to the Vought Studios, like Warner Bros type of location. And this is because Starlight and MM met up with Marie Moreau and Jordan Lee, and they go on this conversation where the two of those people, Marie and Jordan, have been doing recon. They've been getting notes on Oh Father and his movements, and of course this leads to the team going to the studios, but not before a little bit of forced conflict between Starlight and Marie, where Marie's clearly hopeful in the battle and she's trying to get some work in, but Starlight's like, no, it's over. Like, I don't understand why she's doing that. If she's actively getting information to find something, that's just dumb. I don't, like, what do you mean, oh, no, it's over? How are you saying it's over if you're looking for information to go and do something? What are you talking about? I don't. I'm getting. It's 8 in the morning. All right. Why am I getting mad at this? But they end up at the studio. The two of them, the four of them split up into two teams where it's Butcher and Huey and it's MM and Starlight. MM and Starlight are kind of just walking around outside and around the studios. They're seeing as people are just shitting on Starlight. All of the TV shows that they're wrapping up because Homelander wants a full cinematic reboot, they're all centered around Starlight being bad and immigrants being bad. It's just propaganda and fear-mongering. Upon this, we get probably one of the worst seasons. Upon this little venture of theirs, they stumble upon this room where they're watching as the Vought Studios and Oh Father, they're giving this special screening of early Homelander being revealed as God footage that's still in development to a couple of VIP members. It's like 30 people and some of them get killed after. But Starlight and MM are watching through the fucking glass. They're in a room behind them, behind this crowd, and they're watching through. That's how we see the trailer where Jesus Christ hands the fucking crown to Homelander and says, yeah, you gotta take the reins from here, bro. I can't do this. They end up in the roof. You know, those like roof tiles. They end up in the roof and they watch as the cat girl from the Teen Titans fucking ripoff and Dognot engage in some fucking freaky activities. Why do I care about this? This is the thing. This show has made it a mission to show the perversion of elites and people in power. And I've enjoyed that as a concept early on because it's real, but why the fuck at this point are you wasting time on two side characters getting freaky for the sake of laughs? That shit wasn't even funny, it was just weird. At the same time, Huey and Butcher, who were literally just about to get at Oh Father, see the psychics that are enlisted by Homelander. We finally get the explanation that they're being used to weed out the non-believers. But what happens here is the psychic notices that the two are there and he drops them both. From that, the two of them get put in this interrogation room. They're tied up or chained up, and the guy inside of their mind is able to turn off Butcher's powers, which I never really knew was a thing. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the whole time I was watching Gen V, I was just like, holy shit, like some of these powers, they could easily kill Homelander with this. But I believe it boils down to how strong the power itself is over someone like Homelander. But look, right, the two of them are in there, and the psychic, I guess, shapeshifts into Kessler, and we finally see him after a whole season where he was the biggest part of Butcher's character, and he reveals that, you know, Butcher got him and his team killed when they were in those fucking like Black Ops missions, and now it gives Huey something to think about where he's like, holy shit, I might get sacrificed and the team might get sacrificed if Butcher wants to complete his goal. But I think this is just setting up Butcher having to make a big decision next episode. I think he's gonna be caught between, once again, I think I said this before, I don't remember if I did, but he's gonna be stuck between achieving his goal and really having a final moment, or actually doing something to help and save someone like Huey or Ryan. I'm sure we'll see something like that in the next episode. That's what the point of the scene was. But of course it ends and the guy just gets killed. Like, they distract him, and then Butcher breaks out, and he just sticks his fucking tentacles through the guy and splits him in half.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
I don't know why they couldn't have done that before. Yeah, the episode also shows that the Deep is in a fucking depression. The Homelander's disbanding the 7 because he's like, bro, there haven't even been 7 people since God knows when. And also, you're a bum. So the Deep is done out. He goes and he's sitting by the ocean and he's drinking some beer. But then a Samuel L. Jackson shark. That's a specific type of shark that you've never heard before. It's a real thing. He comes out and tells the Deep that he's not allowed in those ends. He gets fucking G-checked by a random shark, and he's like, yeah, we know you did that pipeline shit that caused the genocide of the fish, and it's just there. I don't know why the Deep didn't die at this point, because there's somebody drowning. It seems like the fish were trying to get him to jump into the ocean and kill him, obviously, by making someone drown and having him be forced to try and make a save. But nah, he just walks away. I think he was on the phone with his talent manager or something like that, and they're just like, yeah, the ocean is your whole thing. You need to do this for the publicity, blah, 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 blah. He doesn't do it. He stays alive. I don't know why he's going to the next episode. I don't know why they wasted time showing that scene. Whatever. That goes through. At this point, I don't even know what else to talk about. Frenchie dies. I don't really know why Homelander didn't kill him in a more devastating way, but That's just there. Butcher is going to be evil or he's going to be good. We don't really know because they haven't decided whether or not he's going to be a morally great anti-hero or a full-on villain, because last season he ended as a villain and this season they couldn't make a choice. Marie Moreau and fucking Jordan were involved. We did not see Kate. I don't know why. They're going to be in the next episode, hopefully. Ryan is nowhere to be found still. And from this episode, Kimiko might have the power to depower fucking Homelander. God knows, okay? Not much really happened in this episode, and for most of it, we were in this fucking Vought studio setting, and it wasn't that great. One character died, and they didn't even show the guy being killed. I don't know what type of timing we're on, but hey, Kimiko and MM made it to the finale. Will they die in the next episode? I hope so, and I'm also kind of hoping not at the same time. I don't really want all the characters just die in one shot. I feel like they could have had a really good opportunity to make their deaths worthwhile in this episode, or even one leading up to this. I don't understand how every person made it to the finale except for fucking Frenchie, but that's beyond me. Like, I'll be honest with you, this season has not been great. It's not lived up to the quality of many of the other seasons. I genuinely think that this might be worse than season 4, and I already had a pretty big problem with season 4, I'm not gonna lie. It was the least memorable for me, and right now, feels like aside from a few big moments like A-Train dying, Frenchie dying, and maybe Noir dying, I don't know. I don't think there are that many super big scenes where I'm gonna be like, holy shit, man, this season was awesome. This was so much fun. I don't really think so. I'm really hoping that the finale pulls it back. Of course, I've been saying this the whole time, but I really want this show to pull off a decent finale. At the very least, I want it to be so good that we can't say that this season was complete ass, because right now, it's looking like you might be able to say that. Look, man, for the better part of the last 2 months, I've been watching this show, and I've had hope for every single episode. I was like, holy shit, maybe the next one will be better. You know, I don't want to count them out, but with the way they just set up the finale, I'm not super hopeful. I'm actually pretty worried. I think that, honestly, there's a good chance Homelander wins. They haven't really shown anything that makes me believe that Homelander should lose in the next episode, and that's vital. At the very least, there needs to be something that screams out, holy shit, they might be able to pull it off. They didn't even confirm whether or not Kimiko got that depowering ability. We're just supposed to assume that Sage, who's been a bum, alright? Sage has been an absolute bum this whole season. I'm supposed to believe that, yeah, you know what? She finally locked in. She's good. No! Ryan got whooped and then he ran away. What is he gonna do in the finale? Beat Homelander up? No. I think it might be over, man. Alright? I think I might be over. And I don't know why every popular show is seemingly having a really bad finale. There has to be some sort of science behind it. Honestly, I want to make a video on it. Somebody pointed it out in one of the videos I posted. I'll be honest with you, I really am thinking about making a video on that. I just got to see how this season actually ends before I can make a comment like that. But yeah, I don't have too much hope. I do want to say thank you guys for all the comments and stuff like that. I saw a lot of people talking, and I'm not really even a fucking YouTuber. I think I uploaded like twice in the last 6 months, but I really like that people are able to talk in the comments. I saw in one of the videos there was a thread of a couple comments, and I like that people are able to talk about it. You know, I grew up watching fucking New Rock Stars almost every day, and it was always fun to interact with people, talk to them about the show and shit like that. So stuff like that is pretty cool. I like when people actually talk about the show instead of focusing on, yo, bro, this shit was cool as fuck. Oh, nah, he has aura, like the corny ass shit my generation has forced onto the social environment. I think it's pretty sick. I appreciate you guys. My career is done after this show finishes, so maybe like and subscribe for, if you don't, you get 10 years of bad luck and syphilis. But yeah, that's pretty much it.